I think essentially there are three issues there. Issue number one is consumers don't feel that they're treated specially. Issue number two is consumers don't feel they're getting the right price. And I think issue number three is consumers feel that we're just giving them whatever we feel like. I think for us at Tune Protect, our primary focus is millennials and zillennials. With that in mind, we've essentially looked at it from four angles. Our products are exceptionally simple. We call it the AirAsia concept, which is we sell you a ticket, but what seat you sit in or what food you eat is your choice. The same concept. We want to have stackable insurance policies. Our pricing, we want to be extremely competitive and relevant from a pricing perspective. So the youngest person can buy an insurance policy, while someone who wants more comprehensive can also buy. So we want to make it available. The second one is at the core of what we do is our focus on how we use technology to make our customer experience simple. For me, technology is enabling us to give customer an opportunity where they can buy a product on a website, they can buy it through an agent, they can buy it through a broker, they can buy it through a chatbot, or they can buy it through our app. And vice versa, they can be serviced multi-channel as well. So that's critical for us. The third part is looking at our processes. Are our processes simple enough? As an example, very simple example, we made a commitment that by the end of this year we'll be paperless in all our in-control processes. That's very important from a customer perspective. The last and not least, to build trust, it's very, very important to also have that as a critical KPI for our organization. At the end of the day, what gets measured gets done. And for that reason, we've announced that 15% of the bonus of all our employees, starting from me, will be impacted by the customer experience or the satisfaction levels with the company. That is a clear driver because, as they say, what gets measured gets done. The same concept is we want each of the entities to be accountable for what is the right customer experience they're delivering. Well, when it comes to building digital capabilities, I think there are two parts to this. One is how are you building this capability within the business to understand what truly the customer wants? And the other is the technology side of how's technology enabling this transformation. At Tune Protect, we are quite advanced on technology and digital. As an example, we are API agnostic. We have open APIs. Many of our partners use our APIs. We have a mobile app. You can buy a policy. You can service yourself. You have an e-medical card. So you can use the app for a lot of stuff. Our UI UX is quite intuitive, but you're going to soon see another new one which is going to be even more intuitive. But the key is, from a business perspective, we always think mobile first. I think that's the approach we have always taken. Many of you would have bought a travel insurance with an AirAsia flight underwritten by Tune Protect, and it would have been so seamless and frictionless. And one of the reasons for that is the clear focus both AirAsia and Tune Protect have on technology. So clearly, this is an area of focus for us as an organization. And this is where we are investing more and more of our efforts to give you the best and the most simplest way of not only servicing you, but also being available for you. And at the heart of that is how do we use the data that we get access to so that we can give you access we can give you better service or based on that access. At the end of the day, when we have access to data, there has to be something in it for the customer on what are we doing with the data we have from them. So that's where technology for me is a nice marriage between the front line, which is the business, and the back end, which is the tech side. As another example of how we think, a lot of our processes are now using robotics process automation. We are in the process of launching some new chatbots in some of our businesses. And the whole idea is simplify the process, keeping the customer's experience in mind, being mobile first, which automatically means our products have to be simple, and finally, being very 2025 ready, in the sense we don't want to be 2021 ready. We want to be 2025 ready because most of the systems we launch today are already outdated when they're launched. Ahead of the most important person in the food chain, which is the customer. All of these people, employees, distributors, shareholders, exist because a customer is ready to buy a product or a service. And I think that realization in the industry has started in the last, I would say, less than a decade. That's why you're seeing some of these new age entrants like the Lemonades of the world, who pride themselves on customer satisfaction, are coming in, and they are really disrupting the space we are at. And that starts with understanding the customer journey in real detail. When we understand where a customer comes from and where they want to go and what do they expect, we can service them so much better. As an example, at Tune Protect today, before we launch a product, we do a focus group discussion with our customers. Our customers get to see the type of product we are launching, the likely pricing, the feature, the likely user experience of the purchase journey, and they get to give feedback to us before we actually launch the product. Sometimes the feedback is great, sometimes the feedback isn't great. The whole idea is to learn from them whether what we are giving them makes sense for them, rather than deciding based on five or six insurance executives sitting in a room deciding what my target audience wants. The second part of it in this journey is it's very, very important for us to draw out the journey. When I say draw out the journey, draw out the process, challenge ourselves. I've heard some of these comments made, and they're very true, that sometimes we try to hide behind regulations. And more often than not, it's not the regulators, it's our own internal complications that makes the process complex for the customer. So it's very important for us to engage in this dialogue internally and externally on how to improve our customer experience. Customer experience in insurance starts well before they actually buy a product. It starts from the time a customer is researching what should they buy for a likely need they may have. So at that time, are we providing the right information, right education for them to understand what to buy? Then it starts when they buy, i.e., they come to our website or go to an agent or go to a broker or wherever. Then it moves on to service. Service is a moment of truth where generally you don't have a wow moment. It's what I call a thankless moment of truth. If things go well, nobody's going to come out saying, wow, you did well. If things go bad, you will know it for sure. Then comes claims. Claims is the moment of truth where a customer is either delighted or customer is unhappy. And as we all know, bad mouth spreads faster than good words. As simple as that. There's research which says 10x, others who say 9x, 90x, sorry. So it really depends. But I think the bottom line is claims is the promise we are giving a customer. So from the first four instances, from researching to buying to servicing, have we been able to educate and give the customer the right deal of information that when it comes to a claim, when it comes to a promise, there is no issue of understanding that the customer has of what is covered and what's not. And the second part is how easy is it to claim? The third part is how regularly are we keeping the customer informed? Research after research has proven that customer is not necessarily looking for who's the fastest to pay a claim. They're actually looking for is the company giving me a promise and staying by it? So if you say 7 days, if you say 5 days, if you say 2 days, stick to it. That's the key. The last part, obviously, is when they either renew or unfortunately they cancel. I think again that engagement is very, very important as to how easy we make it for them as a consumer. So, encompassing the customer journey is to a detailed understanding of the customers that we are mostly targeting. For us, obviously, it's millennials and zillennials. There are others who target high net worth customers. There are others who target different types of segments. It's very, very important to understand that segment in great detail so that our distributors and our employees can service them better. Well, I always tell a story, which I'm going to repeat again. For those of you who heard this story from me, I'm sorry. I'm repeating it because I think it's the most important story. Because there's a customer who buys a product, there exists employees who need to sell it to them. Because there exists a sale process, there exists a service process. Because there exists a sale and service process, exists a governance process. Because there's a governance process, there's an XCOM. Because there's an XCOM, there's a CEO. Because there's a CEO, there's a board, and so on and so forth. The food chain is very, very simple. There is a customer who's ready to buy your service or your product. It starts with that. And for that reason, I think customer NPS, customer satisfaction, is the moment of truth in our industry or any industry. Yes, we've forgotten it. Yes, as an industry, we have a negative NPS according to most surveys. Yes, our trust is low. But for me, I look at I look at the glass, with a very open mindset, which is to say, we can only go up from here. And for that reason, I believe that there's a big opportunity for someone who goes out there, sticks their neck out and says, I want to be the NPS leader in the market. And that's our ambition. We are saying we want to be the undisputed NPS leader in the markets we operate in. We may not be the number one in sales, but we want to be the number one in customer NPS. Most satisfied customer means they will buy more from us, they will stay longer from us, and when the two happens, we will obviously make more money as an organization, more profits, which we can then not only help for our shareholders, employees, but also invest back into the business for better customer experience, better customer, benefits, and so on and so forth. So NPS is at the core of what we want to do, because at the end of the day, I think the only way we can differentiate ourselves with the established insurers who have hundreds of years of experience is that obsession we have with simplicity and customer experience. And that's why our new tagline, which was launched late last year, is Insurance Simplified. So we have a simple mantra across the organization. How can we make insurance simpler every single day? And if you don't find it simple, please let us know, because we constantly want to improve. The last but not least, in that journey, we want to build a culture where people fail fast, wake up fast, and move on. For this kind of innovation, for this kind of simplification exercise to succeed, we all got to accept that there will be failures down the road. And for that, we need to empower our employees. We need to focus a lot more on employee satisfaction. Because as Richard Branson once said, unless your employees are satisfied, your customers are not going to be satisfied. So for that reason, we've been, laying a lot of focus on building the right culture, getting the right people, and building the right NPS culture across across the organization, starting from employees to distributors to customers. I spoke about customer journey earlier. Basically, how does then the digital enablement facilitate this customer journey? Actually, what we put then from a technology angle, or from an e-commerce angle, or from a customer experience user experience angle, is linked to that journey that we talked about. At Tune Protect, what our research shows is for millennials and zillennials, there are three things that matter to them. The first thing is they love to travel. Yes, during COVID, you can't travel, but they love traveling. The second, I think more importantly for them, the mobile phone. Their lives depend on their mobile phone. The third is, health. A lot of people today are a lot more health conscious than ever before. And for that reason, I think a lot of the customer journey we are curating is based on these three needs of the customer and how can we reach it to them in the easiest way. Now, if a customer wants to buy a product through a telco, for example, who they have greater affinity with, or through a lifestyle organization, so be it. We are happy to go there because we don't want you to come to us just because we want you to come to us. You could very well do your transaction at that side, and we will get the data and we will service you as required. Where you want to do it, we're happy to do it. So I think the point is we don't want you to come looking for us. We are happy to come where it is best to reach you. There are two ways of doing that. One is to offer you bite-sized products which are frictionless and we can sell it at that moment. For example, gadget protection with a mobile phone, e-wallet insurance when you buy e-wallet, travel when you travel, personal accident, coverage for dental when you're at a dental clinic, so that going forward you can cover yourself non for future requirements, not pre-existing, of course. Or you can come to us for standalone products. You want to buy a health product, you want to buy a motor product, you can come to us as well to buy a standalone product. And for service, you can be serviced in multiple ways, as we mentioned earlier. So I think the key is to understand that need. Even within health, for example, we can't just give one product that fits all. There are people who are wealthier for whom comprehensive product which covers everything, which has a lot of high-end features are required. There are people who want just the basic hospitalization cover to be there because they don't want to go through this issue of having to pay too much because they're younger, they're just starting out their careers, or they may not be that wealthy and they want simpler products which cover them for hospitalization. So depending on the need, we will then cover your requirements according to your life stage, your preference, and your journey.